Hey, how's it going? This is Christian Frazier with Keller Williams Buckhead, and I'm here with Peter Iron with Ackerman Security Systems. We actually want to talk to you a little bit about home automation today. So, tell me, what's the latest in home automation and security systems today?
Well, home automation is a general term reflecting the types of things that you can do to your house and the systems in your house remotely, typically from your cell phone or other device. Internet is provided. It includes garage door openers, lamps and lights turning on and off. It includes changing the thermostat. It includes unlocking your doors and any number of things along those lines.
Interesting. So let's talk a little bit about solutions. I know that I actually have a sibling who is visually impaired, and there's a lot of people out there who have parents who are elderly, and I can really see where home automation and security systems would really come into play, especially like the video camera solutions and everything. With the doorbells.
Yeah. My next door neighbor, in fact, who I protect, has a deep house. And when the doorbell rings, she is very slow getting to the door. So by the time she gets there, people have already left. Front doors is the most common point of entry with a lot of knocking. You will then realize nobody's home, and that would be the burglar's first attempt to kick in the front door because they realize nobody's home. So having a doorbell acts in a number of ways. In her case, she can say, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." I joke with her, "I'll be there shortly." So there'll be at least wait for her. But the important thing is, whether you're home or not, to be able to let it seem like you're home, because the burglar does not want to greet you because they know that they could be in for a little bit of trouble. As far as handicap, you mentioned your brother is visually impaired. The touch screen that I have at my house is large. As I've gotten older, my eyesight is getting poorer, and sometimes it's difficult to read little things, but I know instinctively where to push on the keypad, on the touchpad. So it's very simple for me to operate the system. After a while, you just know where to push. Whereas if you have those tiny little buttons, that was keypads of old, you have to read the tiny little print that's underneath there. And we have elderly people who seem to find it easier to use the touch screens that we offer.
Yeah, and for the visually impaired, like his iPad and his iPhone, it actually talks. So like he can do all types of apps. He can order food. He can do everything. So I'm sure that it's not a problem actually operating the security system. My question would be, what about say if I wanted to have access to his app to see who's at his door, or to be able to answer as a family member, how would that work?
Good question. Anybody you authorize, or anybody he authorizes in his case, to get into the app is able to get into the app, but you have control over it, and you can, or I should say in his case, he can delete you and your passwords from his phone wherever he is. If you have an employee at work, or if you have a housekeeper that you no longer want to employ but they still have access to your system, you can delete their passwords and their code words from the security system so they no longer can get in.
So it's nice that you can actually give individual access to different people, so you can
Correct.
know exactly who it is who's been in and out of the house. In
House-
case of any type of theft or anything like that, you
Yes.
know exactly who's been in and out.
A housekeeper, for example, you can either operate in any number of ways. You can have them call you from the driveway, and you can unlock the front door and turn off the security system and control your thermostat to get it cool while they clean your house or feed the dog or the cat or take care of your house in general.
So you can do that remotely.
You can do that remotely. I've had people call me before from the driveway, and I'll say, "Hang on a second, I've turned off the security system and unlocked the front door."
Now,
And
could you set it up actually like on a timer? Like say if I knew that she's going to come by or he's going to come by at 11 o'clock, can I set it up to?
To a certain degree, you can do that. However, it's not recommended, because if they're delayed, then your door is unlocked for somebody else potentially to get in. So it's better to have that immediate communication, have them text you even, just say, "I'm at your front door," and then you can turn the system off remotely.
Okay, interesting. Now, I had another question about you mentioned about access, which is great. What about video surveillance? Like, suppose, say in that scenario, I want to have access to see who's knocking at my brother's door, who's knocking at my elderly parents' door, and I want to see what's going on inside. What type of video surveillance is available with this type of system?
We have two types of video systems at Ackerman Security Systems. One is a fully cabled and DVR recording device. Typically we put 4 cameras. We can go up to 6 or even more cameras around a house, typically on the outside, that are recording constantly. And this is something that you will be able to see what happened. We have another type of camera system we call a wireless camera system, which is a camera that only needs electricity, a regular plug and outlet. But what this camera does is it transmits through the Wi-Fi to the cloud clips of things that are going on. You can have it notify you, but outside cameras, although our competition likes to tout that you get notifications, the outside cameras will notify you of every dog or bird or leaf flying by. But what it does is it gathers clips, and you can look at them at any time live, very simply and very easily, and go back and see that something happened and take action on it. The doorbell camera is a perfect example of that. Perhaps a secluded backyard or back patio, you can put a camera back there. I have actually used an outside camera with notifications, and yes, occasionally the camera would get jostled, so it would be moving up into the traffic going by, and I would get a ton of notifications, but I simply deactivated the phone, and when I got back, I re-aimed it to the area that I was more concerned about.
So you have control over the areas you can. Does that
Not
motion?
that would be a pan and tilt, and that it does exist. It's a very expensive camera. The better thing
I was going to say
to do
that's
is
kind of high end.
it is high end,
but
yes.
it's available.
It is available. Yes, you can actually move it. So you can. It's good in a warehouse, for example. So you can actually move it across, back and forth across. Remotely from your phone. Back and forth to see.
So if you're like
size.
Tony Montana, you got a house.
Yeah,
you need all of that kind of surveillance. It's available.
Yeah, it is. It is. We have anything that's out there available, including license plate cameras, and for use in a subdivision, for example. But speaking of automation, one thing I did want to say, you can link all of these systems together. Picture your wife coming home. It's winter time, so it's getting dark around 5:30 or 6. She gets home 6:30 or 7. The house is dark. The house is cold. What she can do as she's coming in is into the subdivision is she can turn on lights, turn up the thermostat, unlock or open the garage door, and turn off the security system with the push of one button on her cell phone.
Really?
And these are the things, and turn on a string of lights leading to the master bedroom so she has light along the way.
Wow, that is like pretty.
And then
amazing.
in reverse, in the morning when you leave, with one push of a door lock on the button, you can activate the scene that you want in the house. Thermostat turned to the appropriate temperature, certain lights turned on, the doors will be locked, and the security system will be armed. So you can do things with a push of one button or from your cell phone, and you can customize what it is you want. We always like to call it the Barry White syndrome. You can have with a push of a button. Everybody's seen it, I'm sure.
You want to set the mood.
You can set the mood with your security system, dimming the lights and doing all this kind of thing. Absolutely.